Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a conversation for creatives, introverts, sapiosexuals, and all of the people entertained and who love us. I am Liz Flo, the podcast host, poet, writer, and overall Afro-Caribbean Latina creative. I know that is a mouthful, but welcome to the show. Welcome to Creatively Exposed. This is Liz Flo, and today I want to talk to you about rest. If you are or aren't into these things, I am into these things. There is a Virgo new moon coming. Well, tomorrow, whenever you hear this, it'll be way gone. But this Virgo season, there's going to be a whole bunch of planets in Virgo, and what that means to me and in general is a lot of getting stuff done. Overextending self, cleaning a lot, creating, writing lists, and all kinds of goings on. And it's really just preparing to work hard, grind till I own it kind of vibes. And in between all of that, we need rest. I think we should start, or at least I should start, writing rest as part of one of the to-do things on my own list, because Virgos also rule the body, and whatever abuse you give to your body, you're probably going to feel it, like I am right now. I've been working on getting the podcast going, which it gets me so excited to have a rough, imperfect, figure it out on your way project, since I tend to paralyze and overanalyze myself and the things I want to create because I want them to be just right or perfect, which that doesn't exist. I go to therapy. I'm still working on that. But after creating and releasing something and putting it out there, I think it's important to take time to sit back and see everything that you have created or done so far. I'm sure that you can hear my neighbors. I am, what's his name? Johnny and the Beanstalk. And I have giants upstairs. That is my explanation. I'm sticking to that. But creation takes a lot. You're creating things that do not exist in the world the way you have created it. And, Superman can recharge with the sun. Like, everyone needs to recharge. So I think that's super important, even if I forget myself. So just a kind reminder to be graceful to yourself, to your body. Give yourself the credit. Some things don't seem big, but letting go of what doesn't serve you is humongous. Creating and sticking to boundaries is humongous. Writing a word or a sentence or a page is important and valid. A brushstroke that you can think of last week, anything that you have done, even if it is waking up today and getting through the day, is an important feat. It is a win. And that is just a thought that came to mind while I was laying on bed thinking of all the other things that I could be doing. I tend to talk about a lot of shoulds in my head. I'm not really sure who that voice is, but hey, figuring that out on the way. And I realized that when I am well rested, eating well, taking care of my body in a way that I feel good about, I create more. When I'm idling, I create. There was a time I was going to the chiropractor, and while I was being readjusted and checked out and all that, and there was just silence, that's when I would get ideas. And I'm like, oh man, I have to remember this. So when I get in the car, I can write it down and I can work on this next, whatever it was. And I'm realizing the pattern now because throughout all of my travels, when I have been basically at my highest vibration, enjoying company, enjoying my own company, playing, I think I am relearning how to play and what play means to me and all of my inner children, which that'll probably be a whole separate episode. But as you play, you create more space to create, because creating is a form of play. And I'll find the article by the Shine Text. I get their text every morning. And they had a really good one of multiple ways of how to rest. And one of them is creating just to create as a form of rest, or binging, or whatever sometimes we say is like being lazy. And it's really just a form of recharging. So remember to rest. I know when we're into something, sometimes I forget to eat. I don't do anything for the whole day until I look up and it's been like hours later and I'm like, oh, I am back into the world. I am now present again and I need to do all of these basic things because I've been enjoying myself so much that I transport it elsewhere. So in your grind, in your hustle, in your living day to day, take a moment, and it doesn't have to be this big, humongous, like I'm taking a whole Sabbath and, but 15 minutes to yourself, uninterrupted, might just be what you need before you have a breakdown or something. So rest gives space. It feeds the creative spirit, at least my creative spirit. And that's all, folks. Thank you again for spending time with me. And we will talk again. Take care. Stalking Anchor for the longest. I've seen how easy it is to edit stuff, to record from your phone, work on it with your computer. I've even done some testing with friends to see how it works. So it's super easy. It sounds really, really good. You're listening to me right now. And they'll put it everywhere that you listen to podcasts. From Apple to Google to Spotify and everywhere else. And you can make money from it without, having this huge base of people So download Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started and do what you've been wanting to do now. I am back, y'all. If you don't know me by now, me mentioning something and not giving you all of the information was going to drive me crazy. So the Shine On text that I received, I had to go back and I really wanted to give the types of rest that you need to actually feel. You need to actually feel recharged. And there's 7 types that you can do when your soul is tired. Like, you have slept, you have taken a little moment, and still somehow you're just like, oh my God, I just slept and I'm still tired. It might just be that there's different kinds of rest that you need for your body. And so the 7 kinds, and I'll put this link in the show notes because I think it's really a good source. Physical, creative, mental, social, sensory, emotional, and spiritual rest. Those are the different kinds of rest to feel completely rested. So physical, sleep or just chilling and, maybe not working out. Now, if you haven't worked out all week, and this is me reading myself, you might not need to rest unless maybe I need mental rest. And that's what I need, which sometimes for me is going for a walk, not being on my phone, and meditating. If you guys are into meditating, if you are not, please just try it out. It doesn't have to be this, sitting in Indian style or whatever, and I don't know, whatever the stereotypical way of that is. But it does help a lot to quiet out the world and anxieties and take yourself back to being yourself without all that static. Social rest. This is my favorite, but I am also an introvert, so I love social resting, which means being by myself or the people that understand my needs as an introvert. Because going out and seeing people and hanging out, I will have a great time. But if I do this 2 or 3 times in the week, best believe I cannot see anyone for the next 3 to 4 days just so I can be in the best mood and right with myself. Creative rest. So color, you could color instead of writing your book. You can, I don't know, read somebody else's creation, jump into nature, go for a run, swim, hang out with your dog. That's really good. Emotional rest. Especially if you go to, in my case, it's for therapy. It's great to go to therapy, but if it's like a really heavy session, sometimes I gotta give myself something to like fill myself back up. And, it could just be writing in my journal, gratitude. I've had to do that a couple of times when I've just had a hard day and I'm like, oh, but look at all these great things that are happening, and list them out. If you got mad, instead of keeping it in, talking to someone about it. And that is for everyone and anyone. I know that there's a stereotype that, people of color are not able to express their feelings freely, but find a safe space, even if you create it yourself. Spiritual rest. Whatever that means for you. Like in my case, it would be meditating. Sometimes it is taking in a sermon. I'm not really a religious person, but sometimes a sermon can hype me up and get me going. Sensory